You don't control your product quality. Your suppliers do. And when they fail, your production stops, costs explode, and your customers notice. This is the reality of supplier quality. In this masterclass, you'll learn how to select, control, monitor, and improve your suppliers using a proven lifecycle approach. Let's get started. So, what is supplier quality management? At its core, it's managing supplier capability, quality, performance, and risk. Because it's not enough that a supplier can make a good part. They have to do it consistently and under control. That comes down to three things. Capability. Can they do the job? Consistency. Can they repeat it every time? Compliance. Do they follow the standards? And here's where many companies get it wrong. Supplier quality is not procurement. Procurement focuses on cost. It's not quality control. Supplier quality. It prevents problems before they happen. It gives you control and visibility across your supply base. Supplier quality doesn't stop at the supplier. Every product follows the same path. Supplier to manufacturing to customer. And whatever happens at the supplier shows up in your process. A defect becomes your defect. A delay becomes your problem. A cost increase hits your margin. This is end-to-end quality responsibility. Because your process doesn't start in your factory. It starts at your supplier. So how do you actually control all of this? You need a system. Because supplier quality is not a one-time activity. It's a life cycle. It runs in three phases: establishment, monitoring, development. It's a loop, because every improvement makes your suppliers stronger and your future decisions better. This is the supplier quality life cycle. Let's start with phase 1, establishment, where the life cycle begins. One of the key activities here is supplier selection. This is where the life cycle starts in practice. Supplier selection is a structured evaluation. So what do you look for? First, quality capability. Do they have stable processes and proven performance? Second, certifications. Standards like ISO 9001 confirm a structured system. Third, technical competence. Do they have the right equipment and expertise? And finally, capacity. Can they deliver consistently at your volumes? You may also consider factors like location, responsiveness, and overall risk, because every weakness you accept here will show up later. You are not just selecting a supplier, you are selecting your future risk level. After selecting a supplier, you need to verify your choice. This is where supplier audits come in. They are your validation step before approval. Because what a supplier promises and what their process delivers can be very different. The most common three types of supplier audits are process audit, how well the process is controlled and executed; system audit, how the quality system is defined and managed; product audit, whether the final product meets requirements. You verify process control, documentation, and capability. For more, watch the Supplier Audit Masterclass. If you skip this step, you are taking a blind risk. Once the supplier is verified, the next step is qualification. Qualification often starts during on-site audits, where you assess process readiness and capability. The most common approach is PPAP, Production Part Approval Process. PPAP uses representative parts and supporting documentation to confirm that the process is stable and repeatable. This includes first article inspection, sample validation, documentation review, and process verification. In other words, not just one good part, but consistent quality over time. There are also other qualification methods, such as capability studies or trial production runs. Because before you release a supplier into production, you need confidence in their process. Once the supplier is qualified, the next step is onboarding. This is where supplier quality prepares the supplier for production and effective collaboration. You define requirements, share specifications and documentation, and align on quality standards. You provide instructions, run trainings, and review key processes. You establish communication channels for reporting issues and managing deviations. Everything must be clear: what is required, how it's measured, and how it's controlled. Because even a capable supplier can fail if expectations are unclear. Clarity at the start prevents problems later. Before production starts, you need to prevent problems. This is where supplier quality assurance comes in. You use tools like APQP to plan quality in advance, FMEA to identify and reduce risks, and control plans to ensure process control. For more, watch our FMEA Masterclass. This is about building quality into the process, not inspecting it later. Because good quality is built before production starts. Once production starts, you need to control supplier performance. This is phase 2, monitoring. Here, supplier quality tracks how suppliers perform in real conditions. You measure key performance indicators: defective parts per million, defect rate, and overall quality performance. On-time delivery: are parts delivered as planned? Service level: how reliably the supplier supports your operations. You use supplier scorecards to track performance over time. Suppliers are then categorized, for example, A, B, or C, based on quality, delivery, and overall performance. A suppliers consistently meet expectations. B suppliers show occasional issues. C suppliers create risk and require immediate attention. In practice, you focus on the worst performing suppliers. Corrective actions should reflect their performance, especially PPM or DPPM levels. Sometimes a supplier delivers parts that don't fully meet requirements. Instead of rejecting them, you may approve a concession. This is a temporary approval to use non-conforming parts under defined conditions. In practice, you review the deviation, assess the risk, and decide if the parts can be used. If approved, you define clear limits, for example, quantity or time, and you document the decision and communicate it to all relevant functions. Because a concession is not a solution, it's a controlled risk. When issues occur, they need to be addressed systematically. This is where SCAR comes in. The process starts with containment to protect production and stop the problem. Then you perform root cause analysis to understand why it happened. And finally, you implement corrective actions to prevent it from happening again. Because fixing the symptom is not enough. You need to fix the cause. For a deeper dive, watch the SCAR Masterclass. If issues continue, escalation is required. This happens when supplier performance does not improve despite corrective actions. Escalation brings higher visibility and stronger actions. You involve management, increase monitoring, and set clear expectations for improvement. This may include escalation meetings, formal warnings, or stricter controls, because ongoing poor performance is not acceptable. If a supplier does not improve, the situation must be escalated. Once performance is under control, the next step is development. This is phase 3. Here, the focus shifts from fixing problems to improving supplier capability. You support suppliers through training, on-site coaching, and joint improvement projects. For example, running workshops on the shop floor, optimizing processes together, or improving measurement and control systems. This includes regular performance review meetings, Lean and Six Sigma projects, best practice sharing, and process standardization. The goal is to improve quality, stability, and overall performance. But development is also a decision. Not every supplier should be developed. In some cases, it's more effective to replace them, because your supplier's improvement is your competitive advantage. Even with development, risks remain. Supplier quality must actively manage them. Single sourcing. One issue can stop production. Capability gaps. Processes fail under real conditions. Global disruptions, delays, shortages, logistics issues. Quality escapes. Defects reach your customer. In practice, you monitor risks, follow up on weak suppliers, and react fast to deviations. Because in supplier quality, small issues escalate quickly. Supplier quality is evolving. More and more companies are moving toward digital systems, real-time data, and advanced analytics. Supplier portals, automated scorecards, and integrated quality platforms are becoming standard. And with AI, it's now possible to predict risks, detect patterns, and prevent issues before they happen. The goal is simple: less reaction, more prediction. Supplier quality is a life cycle, from selection through monitoring to development. Master it, and you control your performance. If you found this useful, subscribe to the channel and check out our other masterclasses. Thanks for watching.